I have some questions for you.
Okay.
Um, can we start? How did you
Yeah.
decide to become a musician?
uh, that was kind of a crazy chain of events. When I was a young kid, I was into rock and roll and listening to the radio, listening to the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin. And then one day I realized I could play drums. And I told my uncle that I wanted to play drums, and he gave me my cousin's drum set. And I sat down and I played the drums, and the rest I think when I was about from 8 to 16, I was just playing the records in the house. But then when I was about 16 years old, I realized that I wanted to be a professional drummer.
And
But
the
I was yeah,
and in that time you decide to become a drummer, really?
I decided to become a professional drummer, but I couldn't tell anybody because there was cheers, salute. There
Salud.
was there was that was not a real job back in the 70s. I was 16 in 1976, and people that were musicians were drug addicts. They didn't it wasn't a real job. Like, you didn't have MTV and stuff. So uh, yeah, when I told my parents what I wanted to do, they were not happy. And then there was a long struggle, 40 years touring the world, and I became a professional drummer.
uh, can we do a little review about all the band in which you participate in the past at present? From past at present,
Yeah.
all your band.
Oh my God.
Many, many bands.
I've been in so many bands I can't too many to mention, really. I don't know. I've recorded over 100 records. I've made a lot of DVDs. Oh, probably the most notable bands are the first recording act that I was touring with was a band called Hanover Fist from Canada. That was in 1984. I didn't play drums on that record. I was the touring drummer. They were an MCA. And then I moved to Los Angeles in 1987, and I was playing with a Japanese guitar player by the name of Cooney, and Jeff Scott Soto was the singer, who was also the singer for Yngwie Malmsteen. Then I played in a band in LA called Bo Nasty. We were on CBS Records, and we did one record. And then after that, I joined Tony McAlpine, and I was on and off playing with Tony McAlpine for about 10 years. And in the middle of playing with Tony McAlpine in '94, I was playing with Yngwie Malmsteen for 2 years. Then I came back and played with Tony, and then that project ended, and I ended up moving to Europe in 1997. So I went from Los Angeles to Europe in '97, and then I was playing with bands like Metallium, Roland Grappel Solo Project. Actually, I knew Roland Grappel from Halloween, so that got me started in the German metal scene. I played with Gamma Ray for a while. Then I joined Axel Rudy Pell, and then I joined Rage. And then I was working with Tarja Turunen, the lead singer of Nightwish, for about 8 years. And currently I am playing in a band called Avalanche, and they're from Spain.
And how, sorry, how was working
It's okay.
with Emil Manstein? How it was working with Tarja Turunen?
Uh, well, working with Ingve was not easy, and I'm not the only one to say that. So that was a kind of a crazy 2 years, but we made a good record, and the tour was good. And I wouldn't say it was a totally negative experience, but it was not so easy all the time. Working with Tadia, I worked with her for 8 years. That was fun. We did Beauty and the Beat together. I had some fun doing that.
And what memories do you have when you was worked with Amy Malmsteen,
A lot of
especially
there's so
especially especially on stage.
on stage. Well, we did some good shows. I mean, I don't want to focus on any negative things that occurred. Uh, there's a few things that occurred on stage which were not so pleasant, especially the last show that I did with him. The last couple of shows. Uh, all I can say is, uh, just because you're a great musician doesn't mean you don't have to be uh, well mannered.
Okay.
I try to. Okay, everyone has their ups and downs. I also have had my bad days, but most of the time I try to be respectful of other people, the people that are working in the venue, the other musicians, the promoter, whatever. But sometimes that was not the case. But there was also some funny things that happened. You know, probably due to excessive alcohol. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink really that much. I'm 61 years old. I never smoked. I'm try to stay healthy. So other people have different lifestyles. So I remember some chaos and some comedy due to the fact that someone had drank way too much
Mm.
and maybe did some other drugs that shouldn't have been mixed together with the alcohol. Okay?
Um, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. So interrupting.
It's
Sorry.
okay. No, 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 no. It's good. I'm done.
um, People perceive you as a beast. I'm sorry, my English is very pure.
Okay.
As a beast the behind the drums.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm the
What do
best
you
beast.
think about this?
Well, I mean, I remember a time where nobody cared about what I did. Nobody knew who I was. So if somebody wants to think I'm a beast, that's okay. Uh, I guess that comes from my playing style. It's kind of energetic and athletic. And yeah, I think it's not such a bad way to be remembered as a beast. A beast,
Beast,
yeah.
beast, yeah. But
Yeah.
I ha- I'm sorry, I have to say comedian too.
Yeah. Well, most of the things that I do now, I was thrown out of school for. I was I had a lot of problems in school when I was younger. I
Espe-
had
espe-
a lot of energy.
Especially when you on videos, some videos, you put your face right.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. What's
right
wrong? You
is.
don't like my face? You don't like my face? I
um,
mean, I used to do a lot of
what
stupid stuff
what
when I was a
is
kid.
what is your best face for you?
This one
Your
right
best
here.
face.
This face.
It's a good man.
Sexy, sexy.
Really
No, I don't
sexy.
know. I like to have fun. I mean, that's why I became a musician. If you want to work a real job and be miserable, well, then go work a real job. I mean, I want to enjoy my life, and I like to make music, and I like to entertain people, and that's fun.
um, how do
Okay.
you stay fit to play drums the way you do?
Well, I do a lot of training in the gym, in the palestra. Uh, I do a lot of physical exercise. I practice a lot, so
Hmm.
I'm not drinking. I'm not doing drugs. I never smoked cigarettes.
The good health.
So yeah, I think so. I've been relatively healthy my whole life. Knock on wood. I'm very lucky. Yeah.
And now I wanted to ask you about some music. Uh,
Okay. Good.
what type of music do you like listen to?
Oh, well,
apart
now, I mean, okay.
heavy metal or rock and roll apart from.
Well, I still, I liked heavy metal. I like rock and roll music, okay? But I play so much of this music that when I'm not working, I I don't listen to it. I listen to a lot of Frank Sinatra, bossa nova music. I love an artist by the name of Todd Rundgren. I listen to his music. I like Billy Joel and stuff. I like acoustic music that's not so aggressive when I'm off. Or sometimes I don't listen to any music at all. Nothing. I need a break.
And
But I love music. You know what I mean? Yeah.
what do you think about Mozart?
Which Mozart? The one that I do or the real Mozart?
Both.
Okay. Well, the real Mozart obviously was a legend and a genius, a very talented individual. And if anyone loves music and you love the music of Mozart, I suggest you get a book and read about him because he had a fantastic life and he left behind some beautiful music. Now, the Mozart that I do, I don't want to be disrespectful to the man, but I like to have fun with the character and I like to run around with the wig on and make some jokes.
What are the best band that you have listened and still follow? Listen to.
Oh,
Ta tan ta
I don't
tan.
know. Peter Gabriel. Uh, most of the bands I grew up on were the rock bands. They stopped. I mean, Van Halen was a cool band that carried on for many years. Stones, Zeppelin, even though they're not going. I don't know. I don't really listen to thrash metal. I don't listen to death metal. I'm not into blast beats. I'm not into. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Young people like it. I don't like it. I don't care.
What what opinion do you have about a new age band? The
I'll be honest with you. I'm not really listening to anything. I don't really hear too much stuff that appeals to me. I don't know. Sometimes I listen to Blink 182. That's not really a new band. I don't know. It seems like there's some good music coming out, like Dua Lipa, EDM music. It's good music. It's smooth. It's not heavy metal, but I'm not listening to really heavy extreme bands. I think most of the new metal bands that the young people like are really extreme with a lot of blast beats and a lot of growling and stuff like that. And that's not something I want to put into my headphones.
enough.
So
So,
I guess you could say I'm out of it. I'm really out of it. I listen to a lot of music from the 70s. For me, the 70s was a great time for music.
the best area.
I think so. I mean, just yesterday, I was listening to the ex-lead singer of Journey. Steve Perry has a new record. Such a beautiful singer.
Yes.
Nice lyrics. I mean, I listen to Fleetwood Mac. Don't get me wrong. I like Slipknot. I think Slipknot's a cool band. You know,
You know.
there's a lot of good metal bands out there. Who cares what I like? I don't think anyone really cares what I listen to. I listened to strange music even when I was a kid.
Next week. The next question. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Next question.
you lead, you lead a very active life with music.
Yeah.
No.
Hmm. Yeah.
What does the drum and music mean for you? Music.
Drums and music mean freedom. Freedom and not having to be a slave in this society. I never wanted to be uh, you know, just I like to be free. I like to work for myself. I like to travel. I like to entertain. I never really wanted to have a normal job. I don't really like anything that's normal. You know, I've never been married. I don't have any kids. I don't want anything to do with that. I want to play my music. That's what I want to do. So it
Simple.
means freedom.
Free, bro.
I'm a
It's,
free man.
it's,
I really am a free person. There's not too many people that can say that. You know, everyone has a lot of responsibilities. I've spent my life avoiding most responsibilities. This is my responsibility right here.
you
This
are
this
on.
machine.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
The
my
the
girlfriend
drum
right
is
here.
beautiful.
Yeah, the drums take me all over the world, and I make money and I travel. What more can I ask for? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Um, we see you very active on social network, right?
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, for example.
Yeah.
The two. How
Yeah.
important is for you to be active in it, and also
Well,
how important is technological music or in technologic to you
technology.
technology. I'm sorry, my
Yeah, I understand. I understand you. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm active on social media because okay, uh, the world stopped about a little over a year ago with this COVID problem, virus. And so the only way to reach people is through social media. That's why I'm talking to you right now on this camera. And so for me, I'm active and I'm performing for people every day, playing the drums and trying to entertain people that are stuck in the house. And I think it's an important way to also stay in touch with the fans.
yes.
So, and the technology that we have now enables us to do this.
In some years ago, 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, we cannot this possibility.
No,
For example,
no, impossible.
the interview is not possible.
It's
But
true. It
now,
would be a telephone call.
yes, telephone. Yes, it's one way, and
Yeah.
10 years ago is too difficult.
Yes. Very
And
difficult.
oh, sorry, I have a question about
Okay.
some. Oh, sorry. How do you build your drum solos?
Oh, well, that's something I've been doing for many years. And I always thought that the drum solo should be like a song. A lot of guys just get up there and they make a lot of noise and play something complicated. But okay, it is what I do is also noisy. But I try to involve the audience and I try to make it so that they can follow it along and enjoy. I try to make it like a song because not many people out in the audience are drummers. So you have to do something to entertain them, some kind of showmanship. And that's how I build the solos. But I've done solos for 40 years, so you start to learn what works and what doesn't work over the years.
What do you think? It's a question from people, from fans here in Argentina.
Yeah,
One
sure.
of the some questions more.
Okay, no
What
problem.
do you think about the musician who want to follow in your footsteps?
Well, why not? I mean, I think it's flattering if someone likes what I do and they also want to do the same thing. That means I'm doing a good job and maybe it looks like fun for them and it is fun. So, uh, yeah, I think it's cool. Why not? If you want to be a drummer, you want to be a singer, you want to be an artist, do it. You only have one life. Do it.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Do what makes you happy.
Mm, if you were a musician, what career would you like to pursue?
Hmm.
engineer,
Well,
comedian,
in the actually that would be fun. I would like to be a comedian or an actor,
actor.
and I like to cook. Maybe I would have been a cook.
How? What? Do you like stage?
Do I like
My
the
my
stage?
my friends here said my friend said
Yeah,
you like it on stage, the people stage,
yeah,
be
yeah,
an actor, the actor.
yeah. I like to. I don't know. I like to have some attention. I like to make some jokes. I like to make people happy. It's fun for me. I like to entertain.
um, okay, next.
Okay.
Now we are currently um, we are experiencing a very
Yes.
complicated situation such as COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does a musician survive this on these days? It's
I
difficult.
think a lot of yeah, I think a lot of musicians are having a horrible time. Not just musicians, promoters, club owners, booking agents, technicians. There's a lot of people, bus drivers. There's a lot of people that are part of the music business, and all of it has stopped. Everything stopped. So I continuing on with social media and playing and hoping that things will open up soon. But I think maybe not until 2022 will you see a lot of live shows come back. It's tragic. 2 years.
It's difficult to
It's
go on.
ridiculous. But
It's,
yeah.
about you again. What future plans do you have for the next few months?
Well, I have my own project called Terrana, my name.
Your
Um,
name?
yeah, I'm playing drums and I'm singing, and I have some new songs that I will present soon that I'm working on. I'm writing, and I will make videos for these songs. And also, I'm still playing with Avalanche. We'll have some shows next month in Spain, actually. So let's see what happens there in 4 weeks.
I'm sorry. Um,
Yes,
on your actual
yes,
project, Terrana,
yeah,
you
yeah,
are playing the drum.
yes.
Why not guitar or
I
bass?
can't play guitar. I can't play guitar. That's not my thing. I play a little bit of piano. Sometimes I compose, but I'm a drummer and I like to sing, and I think it's cool to sing and play drums. So that's what I'm going to do.
But only we can only appreciate you on drums. Yes.
I guess so.